Esther was watching television the other day and saw something that was disturbing to her, and it wasn't surprising that it was disturbing to her because it was disturbing to the presenters who were presenting it. In other words, they were stirring up trouble with it, and they managed to stir up some trouble in Esther about it, where some psychologists were presenting some pictures to children and asking them which is the bad child. And there were children with very dark skin, and then less dark, and then less dark, and then less dark, and until finally light-skinned children. And what this study showed was that almost all children, regardless of what color their skin was, pointed right away to the dark skin as the bad child and the light skin as the good child. And Esther's first discomfort with the presentation was she really didn't like the way the question was being asked. It was, the children are accustomed to being given multiple choices. And so if the question is, which of these is bad, there was no option for none of the above, which many of them would have selected if they had been given the option, but it wasn't the way it was set up. It was, which of these is bad? And then, as Esther thought more and more and more about it, she got more and more riled about it, as it irritated her that even in being subjected to this type of questioning, it can affect the way someone perceives something. In other words, it could be helping them to form an opinion. But then, as Esther began to ponder this further, she wanted to make her own study. In other words, she began conjuring pictures to show not just to children, but to adults or people of all ages, a picture of someone studying, maybe with a diploma in their hand, and a picture of someone windsurfing. And the question is, which behavior is more appropriate? And Esther is quite certain that even though, if the question were, which would you rather do? There would be many who would say, I'd rather be on that skateboard. I'd rather be windsurfing. I'd rather be doing that fun-looking activity. But if the question is, which of these is more appropriate in terms of the well-being or your financial well-being of your physical experience, now people would, from their programmed point of view, say, that one, I should be studying. And when you think about it, you could set up these questions endlessly. In other words, which is best, which is best, which is most appropriate. And the thing that is so interesting and a bit disturbing to Esther as she contemplated, she got really carried away with the questions that she wanted to ask, as she knew that society has programmed everyone to the right answer. And depending upon the way they ask the question really depends upon what the right answer is. But in all of this, in other words, Esther wanted to put together a study. She wants to take it to every school of every age. She wants to deliver it to every university. She wants to take it to everyone on the planet. She would like a survey of what's right and wrong, right and wrong, right and wrong, better, worse, more appropriate, less appropriate. And as she is thinking about this, she realizes the incredible and magnificent abundance of beliefs and expectations and opinions that are rampant on your planet, just like you knew it would be before your birth. You knew that there would be this plethora of choices to inspire you, but the question is, inspire you to what? Inspire you to the right answer? Inspire you to the answer that more are believing is the right answer? In other words, should there be a poll? Should it finally be concluded once and for all? Should every person on the planet be asked the question? And should the answer then be published somewhere? So that finally everyone knows once and for all what color of skin is right? What religion is right? What occupation is right? What application of your life to a day-to-day endeavor is right? Of course not, because you are diverse and you are creators. And most of all, you are the creator of you see. So the reason that we thought that it might be fun to begin this gathering today, contemplating the rightness or the wrongness of these questions or these answers or these opinions, we thought it would be a very good platform to help you to understand why it is that you and almost everybody you know is so mixed up about so many things. Because if you are trying to gather some consensus, in other words, it was so interesting watching these children, because almost all of them, as they said that one, they didn't say that one in a defining term. They said that one, that one. In other words, I'm reaching to give you the right answer by your standards, asker of the question. You're the teacher. You're the one who is standing as the expert. I'm only trying to modify my response so that I get a pleasing response from you. Isn't it interesting? It was such a rare and refreshing thing to see a child say, they're all the same. They're all the same in terms of their goodness. But even those children have been coached by someone who has helped them to understand. In other words, it is not an easy thing to be of this earth, to have been born to someone that got here first, to be an observer of what's going on around your planet, and not have come to all kinds of opinions about all kinds of things. We're not for a moment wanting to guide your opinions or tell you that some of them are inappropriate. But what we are here to emphatically help you to remember is that there is an opinion that really matters, and that is the opinion of who you really are and the source within you. That if you are measuring your thought in the moment, your conclusion in the moment, your desire in the moment, your expectation in the moment, your belief in the moment, your answer to any question in the moment, you can feel what the source within you knows about every one of those questions. In other words, the question is, which is the good child? That was the question. Which is the good child? That one over there, light skin. Which is the bad child? That one over there, dark skin. Almost every one of them said that. Which is the good child? What a question. What a question. So if the source within you, if you were to put a question like that to the source within you, who is the good one or who is the bad one? What do you think the emotion within you would be in your attention to such a question? Do you think the source within you would help you pick out which one is the good one or which one is the bad one? Or do you think the source within you would give you a gut check on the absurdity of the question? In other words, the source within you would feel such absence of willingness or even ability at this evolved state of sourceness to even play in such a screwy game. And as you play in that game, if you're going to be effective in a game like that, you can only measure your response against the criteria that is physical reality. And you're going to, if you're like most humans, use the criteria that is most available to you. Right now, it's the teacher. You're reading her. What's the answer you want? What's the answer you want? And those little buggers, they can feel, they can get the reading. They know exactly what the reading is. In other words, there's nobody that's ever given a survey, ever. There has been no one ever who attempted to gather statistics of any kind that didn't skew the results with the expectation that they had when they set the thing up to begin with. In other words, your expectation, your vibrational stance is everything. So what we're getting at as we are talking about this conversation that these psychologists are having with so many children, as we're having this conversation with you, what we're getting at is we want emphatically to help you to remember that the only relationship that you're ever reaching for an understanding of is the relationship between the source within you and how the source within you feels about the subject that you've got active, period. And if you try to measure your answers against what the teacher wants or what your parents want or about what society wants or even what your peer group wants, you're going to be upside down and all around, scrambled really in trying to cater to these outside the vortex, disconnected, not in alignment with source criteria that surround you so much in your culture of socialization. In a culture of socialization, the premise goes something like this. We're all in this together, and we could be a lot of trouble for each other if we don't control the behavior of each other significantly. That's really what the basis of socialization is, because socialization sort of means, well, I'm surrounded with other people, and other people affect me. And what we want you to understand, the reason that that's such a flawed premise that doesn't serve you at all is because the only thing that causes any effect to happen to you is the vibration that you've got going on. Now, we will agree with you that it's not an easy thing to live with people around you and not be having vibrational knee-jerk responses to what you're seeing. In other words, we know you've been trained. You've been trained by the first teacher who said, what's the right answer here? In other words, they make up their mind what the right answer is, and it's different when it's in addition. It's different when it's in some science that there is a right and a wrong answer. But most of what you are taught has nothing to do with those exacts at all. Even what is science and mathematical, there's more to the story than they're even contemplating in the moment of their question. So the right answer to every question that anybody ever puts to you like that is, there is no one answer to this question. And I refuse to pigeonhole myself to please you. That's the right answer. Now, almost no one's going to offer that because you are crowd pleasers. You're teacher pleasers, you're parent pleasers, you're lover pleasers, you're other people in traffic pleasers. And that's, or not. But, and all of that is all right unless you have given up your awareness of your relationship between your true guidance and you've replaced it with that bogus, moving around, fickle, invalid, always leading you into a place of less alignment. If you are using anything other than your emotions to help you know the validity or the perfection of the choice of your thought in the moment, then you are off your signal. Then you are setting yourself up for something that's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger before it comes to any sort of a satisfying conclusion. Does that make sense to you?